So this video is the next video in creating the in the wire project. I've created the entire wire form in the shape of the bone that I chose, and now we're going to take rice paper and apply it to the wire form, much like I did with this pond piece here. And we're going to use Elmer's glue and mix with water, so it's a 50-50 mix. And you cut the rice paper into smaller bits and apply it. The first one is kind of the tricky one, so I'm going to mix up some paste here. That's probably way too much. Probably had too much water in here, so. Get it blended together so it's a lot thinner. So you could use Mod Podge or a acrylic gel medium. The gel medium would probably give you a kind of a more shiny and more transparent rice paper in the end. So at this point, you want to make sure that your piece is secure, and you want to go around and check and see if there's any wires, any of these little binding wires like that are poking out that might poke through the paper or might poke you as you apply the paper. Here's one now. Pliers would probably help. Just so happen to have some. If you need to, you can clip it off as well. So getting started on this, it's a matter of just picking a place and going. I think I'm going to pick this relatively flat area here, so I can kind of get this started. The getting it started is kind of the tricky part. So you want to cut a piece that's similar in size to the piece the space that you obviously want it a little bit bigger, especially to start with. And then I'm going to dip it into the solution I made, get it soaked both sides. And the first one, like I said, is a little bit tricky in that you have to, it's just going to slide off if you just lay it there. So you have to kind of wrap it around the wire and stick it back to itself. Otherwise, it's just going to slide right off. Could have been a little bit more precise with my cutting. Oh, here now. You want to kind of get it tight. And as it dries, it'll actually shrink a little bit. So the next piece doesn't have to be quite as precise, and you'll want to overlap it with this one and make it kind of go on top of it so you can secure it to the piece next to it and also to the wire as well. What I'm doing is I'm reaching my finger behind and pushing it onto the back. I'll go that way. It's a little shorter piece. Go ahead and trim that down a little so it fits a little better. You want to make sure if there's any gaps. I was just getting a little gap right here where the rice paper kind of tore a little bit. You gotta be really delicate with this. Excuse me. When you do this, if you want to put down something that can absorb the water from the desk, or not absorb it, make it so the desk doesn't get quite so wet. When you have a bigger change, you want to use smaller pieces. So I've got this kind of curves back in there. So I'm using a little smaller piece than maybe I could have to get this on there. Well, maybe using gravity would help. Turning it on its side here so it kind of conforms to the wire, to the form. Another thing you could do is, well, you probably need to cut a bit off of the supply in class so you can then cut it down into smaller pieces. So you can start to see how it's starting to shape up and fill in. Do a few more pieces and then perhaps finish some of this off camera. So like I said, it's best to start in one place and just let it kind of go, let it build, because if you start here, I'm relying on it sticking to the other rice paper. So you don't have to worry about it trying to stick it to the wire where it doesn't really like to stick. Got this big area right here. Maybe it could have used another wire, but we'll try to delicately get it covered. So you can see it's starting to get there. And still have a lot to do. So in the next video, I'll after I've worked on it a little bit, I'll show you guys how to kind of finish it up and make it look complete.